All right, boys, my shift is over. Let's shoot some pool. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight, I'm taking a look at the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Royal Guard. Now, this is something we've been waiting for a long time. We've had the Emperor for a long time. We've had a Darth Vader, but we just got an awesome Darth Vader. So the Royal Guard is that last piece to just hanging around the throne room. Well, okay, I can't say that because we still have Imperial dignitaries to get taken care of. This is a little bit different. These guys, they stood out in the background, especially in the Death Star with its blacks and its grays. Even Darth Vader, the Emperor, Luke in Return of the Jedi, they were all dark colors. So having this red in the background kind of popped out at you. It was kind of cool to see. Plus there's the expanded universe, which is probably out the window now. I don't know where Kanos is standing, or Carnor Jax, or the whole Crimson Empire thing. Now, I know people have been able to get their pre-orders in at GameStop and are waiting for retail for this. I got mine through, of course, Dorkside Toys. Looking at the package, it's the standard Black Series package. Getting back to this after doing some 40th anniversary vintage cards, it's kind of weird, but at the same time, it's nice. It's like, hey, I'm familiar with this. Now, the red background here does work against this figure. I mean, it's cool, but at the same time, he kind of just blends in there. On the side, he's number 38. You have your pretty picture on the back. You have your bio, your legalese, some unreadables, warnings. Probably says something like, not actually salt and pepper shakers. On the other side, we have that improved graphic. Black on top, legalese on bottom. But I'm going to get this open and see how many of these I'm actually going to need. And there we go, all out of the package. And I realize looking at it like this, not very exciting. But there's stuff going on, and we'll get to that. Looking at it like this, the helmet, and then the cloth robe hanging down, maybe an arm sticking out. Yeah, like I said, not the greatest, most exciting visual in the world. But this is essentially what we saw in the movie. Arm sticking out, helmet on top, flowy robes hanging down, and then the weapon. But here, as is, the helmet is a nice sculpt. As far as I can tell, it's shaped right. It's got the nice contours to it. The fabric is a little bit heavier than what we're used to, especially with Luke and maybe Leia. It's not that much different, but it seems to want to do what you want it to do, if that makes any sense. And then as far as paint goes, in this configuration, you pretty much just have the visor. And it is painted nicely. It may be off the edge just a little bit, but for what it is, it completely works. And like I said, the cloth robe, it is still a little bit light, and if you mess around with it, get it here, it does look a little bit flat, look a little bit lifeless, but because of how the head sits all the way down on the body, it's a tight fit around here. So you can bunch it in the front, you can bring the wrinkles around, you can get it here, you can get it here, and you can add a little life to it by making the wrinkles carry down over the figure. And then if you're wanting to go for that full Crimson Empire look, you can drag the cape up under the helmet, drag it back, and kind of bunch it around the left arm like this. You do get a lot of bunchy back here, but again, you can adjust it. And then you see the full body, but we're going to go a step further here and pop the head off. Now, heating it would be better, but I have found out that if you get up under the back of the helmet, it's kind of rubbery, and you just pull until it pops. Then the cape itself is just pretty much draped over the shoulders. Then you put the head back on, which can be a pain in the ass. Again, heat. And then you get the full body armor underneath. And looking at it, as always, I didn't go and check my reference material, but I'm pretty sure this is the Kanos armor from Crimson Empire. The arms are covered in sleeve, it's got the shoulder pads, it's got the chest armor, it's got the cod piece, and then the leg armor on the front and kind of leggings behind it. High boots, I guess you could say. And the color separations here kind of surprised me. I mean, like I said, it's underneath all that robe, all that fabric. They didn't have to put in the work of having two separate colors under here, but it makes for a really nice figure. A lot of wrinkles, a lot of little armor details, a lot of sculpt detail. Again, it's nice to find this under the robes. The separations aren't as clean as they could be, but they still look damn good for what they are. And then one thing I did run into here, I don't know if it's because of the bands around the legs holding it in the package and then the band around the robe holding it back, but the left knee on mine is kind of deformed, and that's because the knee joints are a little bit gummy, which kind of sucks. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I'd call them gummy. The right is just tighter. The left has been loosened up a little bit. So I'll have to heat that up, bring that around. But just the knees. I haven't noticed that with any other joints. And speaking of joints, going over articulation real quick, there's a ball at the top of a hinge in the neck. But because of the design here, there's not much to it. You got a little tilt, not a lot of forward, a little bit of back, a little bit of swivel before it starts running into the shoulders. I mean, it's a slit cut in a bucket sitting on the shoulders. You can't expect all kinds of movement out of that. The shoulders are hinge and swivel, and the shoulder pad does go up into the body, so you get up to about right there. Swivel around. Hinge and swivel at the elbow comes up to 90, then there's swivel. Hinge and swivel at the wrist, and it has up and down movement on both wrists, actually, because this is actually the pistol holding hand. Ball in the lower torso, but not a lot of movement here. Forward, back, side, side. A little bit of swivel. Well, okay, more swivel than I thought. Hinge and swivel in the hips. Comes up all the way, goes back to about right there, out. You can see when I pulled that out, look at that knee. Ooh. Swivel at the thigh, double knee comes up to the about right there. Hinge at the ankle, goes all the way back, forward, runs into the armor piece, and then forward facing pin for rocker. For accessories, the Royal Guard comes with a small biker scout pistol. This is a surprise. I wasn't expecting this. I either saw it and completely forgot about it, or I didn't pay attention to it at all. Now this does go in his left hand. You can see that he has the trigger finger and the middle finger kind of sculpted in the same piece to go into the guard of this. A little bit tricky to get in there, but once you get it in there, he does hold it pretty good. Not terrible. It's not going to fall out. Plus, if you have the robes on, it's going to be hidden under there, so it's kind of a secret weapon, you know, quick draw. But if you don't want that, he also has the holster on this side, which seems a little bit extravagant for such a little bitty gun, but it does go in there. And it seems to want to stay. It doesn't just fall out. And then his other accessory is his pull cue. No, it's his force pack, I think it's called. It's a nice sculpt. It's not super detailed. It has some ribs up the top towards the point. Again, not the most exciting thing in the world. Now you can have him hold it like a standard weapon. Because the fingers sitting like this, it has a good like sword fighting pose to it. But they're also posed that way so you can get into this pose. And the end does kind of lock into his fingers, and you can have it sitting against his shoulder right here. And he does hold it. Nice little detail there. I was afraid it would just sit in there and then roll off if you bump the shelf or something like that, but nope, he actually holds it. For comparison, here is the guard with the Emperor. Now this is the Rick Hoare custom robes. Looks much better than the original Hasbro robes. But you can see the Royal Guard is a little bit bigger. He's not as imposing as I picture in my brain, but he is taller, works for me. Here he is with the 40th anniversary Darth Vader. This is the main Darth Vader right now. Again, this is a regular dude in the costume. It works great against, the tall-ass Vader. As you can see, standard troop size against the Black Series Stormtrooper. They're both the same height. And then finally, with the knockoff Kotobukiya Royal Guard. I guess this is what built it up in my brain. I've had these on the shelf for so long. They've been big. They've been imposing in the background. And then to get this, which is a little bit smaller, but it fits the rest of the display better. So I'm not going to kick the KOs off the shelf, but they'll be pushed further into the background. So at the end of the day, I'm super happy. Yeah, I wish the knees were a little bit tighter. When the robe is around him, it's kind of hard to get balanced. It's kind of hard to get standing straight up. You can kind of see that he kicks to the side or has a foot sticking out or something like that. But man, it's awesome that Hasbro snuck this body up under these robes. It's been a long time since I've read comics, way back in the Outlander days, the Crimson Empire, but I remember loving those stories. And if I remember right, Carnor Jax had a black outfit like this. I would love for that 4-pack from GameStop to be this figure in different colors. Or maybe a new sculpt here and there for, the blue Senate Guard. It sounds like it's going to be an Episode 8 box, but I've already built it up in my brain, so I'm already prepared for disappointment when it's actually revealed. It probably means that I just need to pick up more of these figures. I'm definitely going to need another one to flank the Emperor, to have one on each side. But if I want Kanos, Carnor Jax, I'm going to need a couple more other than that to fix the robe, kind of do some paint work underneath. For Jax, add all the black. Of course, you know me, I have so much time to be throwing paint and, just sitting around customizing, fixing figures, stuff like that. But it's a dream. It's a happy dream. I'd love to do it, and I'll probably buy the figures, and they'll sit in their box, and I won't touch them again for a year or two, and then I'll look down and go, oh, more Royal Guards, and I'll put them on the shelf and forget about the original plan. But again, that's the sign of a good figure. It's got the mind rolling, it's got the imagination pumping, it's brought on ideas. I'm just blown away at how fantastic the sculpt is. The buckles on the boots, I keep going back to those and looking. It's just fascinating. I love hidden stuff like this. Good job, Hasbro. You got me. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.